Hey everybody, Marcus Crawford here with the Idaho Quadcopter channel. Hey, I have the DJI Mini 2 and I'm out at the Snake River Canyon. Today is November 5th. Picked this drone up last night, as a matter of fact, after the DJI reveal. I went to Best Buy and was able to pick up the Fly More kit. Now, I didn't, this is not the first flight. I did my first flight over the canyon and came as close as I ever have to losing a drone. Now, we do have some winds today, although they're not that significant. The most was 18-mile-an-hour gusts on UAV forecasts, and I don't think it's even been that. But I had the drone out over the canyon about 1 kilometer to the north of us, and wow, it did some weird things, went completely out of control. I could not control the sticks. I did get a couple of strong wind warnings, but I have a feeling, I don't think it was wind. I think there was something else going on there with the drone. And boy, I really thought it was going down. It was descending and moving around uncontrolled. I was then finally able to stabilize it a little bit, and I put it in sport mode, and I was kind of making my way back, and I thought, you know what, discretion is the better part of valor. I threw it in sport mode, or excuse me, in return to home, and the drone did come home, and it came down almost right on top of the pad, which is interesting too. Gosh, we still want to try this guy out. I put a fresh battery in it, and while I still don't know what happened, I'm going to tell you all the calibrations have been done. IMU calibration, compass calibration, gimbal calibration, everything. So what was going on there, I have no idea. I'm grateful that I still have the little drone in my hand. But let's take it up again and let's just talk about some of the cool things about this drone. Okay, so I've got the drone fired back up. I did another compass calibration just for the fun of it. Let's go ahead and take a look at video here. We're in 4K, 30 frames per second. And so we're going to go ahead and start recording now. And we are in normal mode, takeoff permitted. I'll show you that real quick just for the fun of it. Return to home altitude set at 100 meters. Now I didn't set it that high. I set that yesterday and I had it set at 60. So how that changed, I have no idea. So let's drop that back down to 60. There we are. And max distance, I had it set to unlimited and it shows 2. So maybe that's something that that you have to look at before every flight, because I remember that was an issue with the original Mini. That would change, and I'm certain that I had reset that stuff. So, so let's go ahead and I'm going to hit takeoff on the app here. And there's the little drone in the air. I'm going to pick up this camera just a little, and we'll bring it around. Bring it into the camera here a little bit, like I like to do. Let's rock it back and forth. Okay, so I am going to do a manual droning like I like to do here as well. So I kind of angled it off there where it'll kind of head out above the canyon, and we're going to go reversing up now. And we had a raptor that was kind of looking over at it a little bit, but he finally turned around, so it looked like he was heading towards the drone there, and so I was paying attention to him, ready to do what I needed to do. So we're gonna go the opposite direction of what I was going before. So this is kind of due south, and so with the winter sun, we're kind of headed into the sun here. And again, like I said, we're in normal mode. I'm at full speed, full stick forward. Yeah, let's ease off on that stick just a little bit and talk about this drone. So, updated the app to iOS. Now, I use an iPhone, so if you're on an Android phone, I am not I can't tell you what yours should be, but app version for iOS, the latest, is 1.2.0, and that added a lot of the functionality for the Mini 2. And then as soon as I fired up the drone, I did this at home, it upgraded the firmware to 01.01.000, and again, that added a lot of the functionality that DJI talked about in their introduction. And I want to point out to you here, we're heading straight into the sun. The sun is almost directly above us, so it's a good test of the camera on this little guy. Yeah, I mean, so many cool things they did with this drone to improve it over the original Mini, and I love the original Mini. And in typical DJI fashion, they kind of blew our mind here. I mean, you know, had they simply added 4K video to this drone, we would all just been ecstatic and been thrilled to death to go out and buy one. But they did more than that. I'm going to catch some altitude here. Let's get this baby up in the air a little bit. I want to make sure I've got a good clear signal, even though we're not that far away. So we do have 4K. I'm going to put it in cine mode. How about that? That'll make it a little easier for me to keep the speed down. So we do have the ability to shoot in 4K 30 frames per second, which is what we're doing right now. It's still got that 1/2.3 sensor, but the bit rate has increased. The old Mini was a 40 megabit per second bit rate. This is 100. So that improves the video quality right there. One of the other things that they did was, and let's yaw over a little bit here, and we'll be able to see the dam off into the distance. Yeah, that looks good. And we've got a nice clear shot here. So yeah, that looks awesome. So I'm kind of going sideways now over the canyon. So the other thing, and it's ironic that we're talking about this now, considering the issue that I had on my previous flight, but they upgraded the motors and gave us LiPo batteries instead of lithium-ion batteries like the original Mini has. They did reduce the milliamp hours. These are 2250 milliamp hours. The old lithium-ion in the original Mini were 2400 milliamp hours. So a little less battery, but I think they did it by improving motor efficiency. And again, you know, one of the things they talked about is improving the wind resistance on this drone. And it's going, by the way, I should mention that it is kind of heading into the wind right now. So coming back from here would have the wind at its back. So whatever issue we had earlier shouldn't affect it here. But that wind resistance is supposed to go up to 23.5 miles per hour wind resistance. Well, we don't have nearly that today. So we should be in good shape. Although, like I said earlier, I had a problem. I'm going to go ahead. We're going to go almost up to max height here. There, that's about it. Yeah, 118. It's telling me that we're close. So, and it's flashing red. But 120 meters is actually just under 400 feet. So that is the dam that you see off in the distance there. And yeah, I guess that kind of brings me to something they added here, and that's that we do have zoom on this drone now, and I think we ought to try that out. Because we're in 4K, we're only going to get 2 times zoom with it. So I'm going to stop right here, and I'm going to try it just on the screen here. We'll go from 1 by to 2 by instantly here. Yeah, there's 2 by, and wow, that really brings it in too, huh? The other thing I can do is I can hold the function button down and use the gimbal scroll wheel to smoothly move it back out. So that's what I'm doing right now, and you can see the number there on the right changing, and then that's back to 1 by. That's pretty darn cool. That is slick. Man, to have that kind of capability on this little drone is just awesome. Okay, so we are out about 1,300 meters or so. And the drone is flying fine now. I have no idea what happened before, but I was just grateful to get the drone back, honestly. Okay, so more about the drone. What have they changed? Well, given us Ocusync 2.0, which is just amazing to me. A claimed 10-kilometer range. Now, obviously, I'm never going to fly this drone for 10 kilometers, but what it gives you is this good, solid FPV picture that I have, and you know, confidence that you can fly the drone out and not lose signal. And in fact, I watched Billy Kyle's video earlier today, and he was talking about, and it's so true, when you're doing a maneuver, a yaw or something like that, if your FPV skips, you're not confident you got the shot. And this Ocusync 2 really helps in that regard. The other thing is we have a new remote. We've got the remote style of the Mavic Air 2, which, you know, I'm using it right now. I'll show you. I'm going to turn away from the drone for a second here, but you can see it on camera there. It's just like the one on the Mavic Air 2. And it's very comfortable. I like having my FPV above the controls rather than below, and then your screen is not obscured by anything on the controller. So really like that. So let's start yawing around. I'm not going to get too close to the dam, and I am a little bit squeamish. I don't want to get too far away. We're about 1.7 kilometers, so we're going to kind of turn around here, and there you can see the side of the canyon. That's pretty cool. That's me dropping the gimbal down, and then let's just go sideways here for a while, and you can see some of the canyon here. I'm going to throw it back into normal mode so we can get a little bit more speed. Yeah, and it's reminding us that we're at flight altitude, which we're not. We're at 118 meters, which is below max. So the other thing is top speed is increased on this guy. It will go 36 miles an hour. I think the old one was like 31 or 30, something like that, which, you know, that's 36 miles an hour is plenty fast for a little drone like this. So there again, like I said, it's just amazing to me what DJI was able to do and improve this product for us. So as I'm turning around, facing back over the canyon now, let's pick that camera up a little bit so you can see. So we'll head back this direction. So what else did they give us on this drone? We're able to shoot panorama shots now, which for a drone in this price range is phenomenal. I'll explore that on another flight. But the other thing that they did is, I mean, they always add features for us. And one of the things that they gave us now is a boomerang shot that we did not have previously in the quick shots, so that's good. And then the other thing that I probably won't use so much, but I'm sure a lot of users will, is that you're able to wirelessly transfer any video and pictures that you're taking with the drone to your mobile device without using the controller, which if you're trying to edit on an iPad or something like that would probably be pretty darn valuable to you. And then the other thing that they mentioned is that they have automatic picture enhancement. And we'll have to mess around with that and see how that goes. But we're down to 55% battery here, and on our way back, let's pitch it into sport mode here, and let's go full stick forward. And boy, what a beautiful sight this canyon is. I mean, it's just always breathtaking to me every time I come out here, and I love sending drones out over this canyon. Again, I'm just a little bit nervous because of that experience I had with my first flight, and honestly, I was grateful to get the drone back. So yeah, I mean, so now we're heading north, and we've got the sun at our back, so it's a little bit nicer. picture, because obviously you're not shooting into the sun. You're getting a better exposure. And by the way, I'm shooting without any kind of filters on the drone at all. And it's my understanding, I can't confirm this 100%, but it's my understanding that the filters that you bought for your original Mavic Mini will fit on the Mini 2. I'll have to give that a try and see. I've got some filters at home. I'll have to test fit them and see if that's a fact. Yeah, and it's giving us that max altitude, and of course we're not at max altitude, and we are increasing, so we're kind of beyond where we were at earlier. So let's go ahead and yaw around here, and let's go back over the side of the canyon and give you guys a look at the territory here. So this area that we're in is part of the birds of prey area. In other words, just outside of the Morley-Nelson birds of prey area. And so there's a lot of raptors around, and it's really fun watching them here and seeing them. And they feed on all the little carrion that's well, sometimes it's carrion, but the ground squirrels and so forth that are out in these fields, and they are all over the place. So there we are, heading directly back to us. And we are in sport mode, and we're doing about 13 meters per second. So that's 13 meters per second is about, I don't know, 28 miles an hour, something like that. So we're not getting that 16 meters per second that they claim, but you know, in fact, now that I think about it, we probably are going into the wind here. So I'm getting a little bit of weird behavior here again. Yeah, look at that. Okay. So we're gonna drop some altitude. I don't know what that's about, but you saw. So there must be some winds up there. That's the only thing I can tell you. But you sure don't feel it down here, up at that end of the canyon, evidently. At that altitude, evidently we ran into some wind. It's normal now, but that's, I guess, that might answer my question. Maybe that's what was happening, because it definitely, you saw it blow the drone over there. So we're down to, yeah, and that was me going full stick forward in sport mode. So that's very common to see, that you would see the gimbal pitch down in a situation like that. Very common with many drones when you put them in sport mode. And the little Mini, I think one of the things they did was increase its ability to pitch so that it can withstand windier conditions. So we're going to go over here and we're going to look at this little spot. I've shown this before, and we're almost going to get to return to home here in a second. But this is kind of an interesting little area right here. We're going to go back into normal mode and go over the top of this. And like I said, it's going to go into return to home here in a second. But this, and I've shown this in a lot of videos, this, I believe, is a remnant from when they had airmail, mail planes. And I think this is, when they were flying over the canyon. Yeah, so it's going to go into return to home. So I'm going to go ahead and confirm and let it do that. So it's going to go into auto return to home. But the point I was making there is that arrow you saw, that's been, I think, rebuilt by the Boy Scouts before. And obviously you can only see it from the air. But I believe that is a remnant from the old airmail days. And that's how they would find Boise. That would give them an arrow, and they knew they were heading in the right direction. So we are right down here on this little point sticking out, dedication point. Now that's me dropping the gimbal down so you can see us as we get closer. And we're down to 17% battery. You know, this Mini 2 has a little bit different tone to it, so that does tell me that there probably is a little bit different pitch to those props. So we're up pretty high, and it's going to be descending now. And it kicked the gimbal back up there. So I've got the gimbal pointed straight down, and we'll see if we get a landing on the pad or not. Obviously this drone does not have precision landing, so but it's looking pretty good. I mean, I can see the landing pad right about in the center of my FPV screen, but we'll stop it if it doesn't, and we'll land it manually. So I'm going to get out of the way here so you guys can see it. Down to 12% battery. Yeah, and we're a little bit off, so I am going to cancel that, and we'll bring it home here. Yeah, and it's wanting to land because it's going to get, and DJI drones will auto land at 10% battery. So something to remember with a DJI drone, if you when you get to 10% battery, the drone is gonna want to start coming down, and you can overcome it with sticks. Now we just put it in landing mode and landed on the pad there. So I guess for new flyers, what I want to tell you is to put the drone in landing mode. If you just simply hold down on that left stick, and it sees the ground, it will go into landing mode and land. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to tell you is we're going to turn off recording on the drone right now. You do that because if you shut off the drone before you stop recording, you'll end up, well, I can't say that for certain with this Mini 2, but with the Mini 1, you'll end up with a corrupted video file, so you want to do that. So we landed with 9% battery. I didn't notice how many minutes we'd been in the air, but obviously I spent a lot of time at full throttle, so whatever I get with flight time on a drone is different than probably most people, because I spend a lot of time with the throttle full on. Okay, let me get it shut down here and we'll do a quick conclusion. Hey, okay folks, so the DJI Mini 2, man, it is so amazing the things that DJI gave us with this product. I am just kind of a little bit gobsmacked by the number of improvements that they made. Although I'm going to throw one caveat in there. You know, they were bragging about the wind resistance, and I can't say. I was up at 120 meters altitude, so I was up there a ways. But as you saw on this flight, it got blown around there a little bit, and as I brought it down, it seemed to get back under control. So I'm wondering if that's what happened to me on my first flight with the drone. I can't say for certain. I can tell you where I'm standing right now, there's barely a breeze. So I don't know, and UAV forecast didn't forecast those kind of winds either, even at that altitude, so I don't know. But other than that, I think the drone performed magnificently, and obviously we have to take a look at the video. When I get home, we'll see the video off the SD card and see what we have, but I'm sure in DJI fashion it's going to be spectacular. Again, so what I bought was the Fly More combo yesterday. So this drone can be had for $449 with just one battery. For what it brings to the table is just phenomenal. I mean, I fly a lot of other drones, but I'm going to say mid-price drones, and this guy has got so many features now that they're just there almost isn't any excuse to why you wouldn't buy this. The only caveat I'm going to throw out there is I'm still concerned about the ability for this drone to fight the wind, but other than that, all good. So gosh, I guess that's about it. My second flight with the Mini 2. This is Marcus Crawford with the Idaho Quadcopter channel out. And if you like this kind of content, please consider subscribing to my channel. Most of all, I really, really do appreciate you taking the time to look at this video. And of course, we'll see you on the next one. Bye now.